Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am coming on tonight with one of my most favorite people in the whole world, Jordan Gankis.
Yeah. Good job.
She's been schooling me on how to properly say her name. So tonight we are talking about creativity and creative expression. I wanted to start mixing things up a little bit and bringing on special guests. So tonight we have the lovely, talented, and magical Jordan on tonight.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you on and hear a little bit more about her journey and how she uses photos and video as a way to express herself and as a way to heal certain aspects of herself. So, Miss Jordan, can you please let everybody know how you got into photography and modeling?
Okay, well, my journey in photography and modeling started when I was a young girl. No age specifically, doesn't really matter. Anywhere I can get my hands on a camera, I was right there. I used the camera as a tool for me to share how I saw the world with people. I was very shy growing up. I felt it really hard to speak to other people or to feel that my communication was really being heard. And so I would use my skills as a photographer to share how I saw things, saw myself, saw the world. And then in that's kind of where my journey as a model began. I would set my camera on a tripod and me and my friends would go and pose and come up with these crazy concepts and crazy outfits, crazy hair and makeup, and we would be models. You know, that's when Top Model was around, so we were very inspired by that.
Love Top Model.
Yep. Yep. And maybe then my friends were a little jaded from it, and they're like, okay, like we don't always want to do this, you know. I get it.
Well, it's hard when you look as amazing and beautiful as you do to get next to that.
No, we were all, it was really fun. I think I wanted to do it like every week, and they're like, yeah, maybe like once or twice. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do crazy things, and I was like, bubbles, and we'll do our makeup like blue and green, and we weren't always necessarily pretty, so it later became a thing that I would just explore with myself, and through that I would not only teach myself photography, Photoshop and all that, but I would also use that as a way for me to express like my depth to other people in my school. And MySpace was a thing, so of course I would come up with these crazy concepts and then execute it from the conceptualization to the finish, and I'd post all these photos on my MySpace. So I didn't want people to know me as like the shy girl who was maybe looking a certain way in school. I wanted people to know that I was really creative and very like expressive, but maybe I wasn't necessarily so easy to open up around other people. Mm-hmm. So I used it as a way for me to communicate visually rather than verbally.
That's amazing. I definitely can relate to not being as articulate as I would have liked to have been even now. So I love, especially today in this day and age, we're doing a video. So images and photos and videos are so powerful. So mm-hmm. I love that you were so ahead of the game and saw that as a great outlet for you to express.
Definitely. I just thought that the way that I saw myself and the way that I felt about myself wasn't necessarily always seen, because obviously we can't walk around with bubbles following us in real life. But the bubbles, you know, like I did this one shoot I'm referring to where I did my hair and makeup really cool. The way that I felt my best at, like this is the real me, this is the best version of me.
Yeah.
And I felt powerful when I felt that way and felt seen. Mm-hmm. And so then I'd use the bubbles to express like this other aspect of me, which is my connectiveness to the universe around me.
Wow.
So like that shoot was really deep because it was like me with these bubbles, and these bubbles represented like the different dimensions of what life is. And it was like our connection to God and ether and spirit. But I was in middle school. I didn't realize this at the time, but I was trying to express like these things I felt but couldn't exactly explain to people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
So deep. Like, how old are you? Like 13?
That shoot was in 8th grade, so I'm not sure how old I was then.
Yeah. 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's beautiful. I love that.
It's so fun. I love those days.
It's so cool getting to hear these parts of you, because I mean we've been friends for a couple years now, and I just feel like it's really neat to listen to your like origins, you know, how this all began, because if anybody follows Jordan on social media, she has a lot of followers, and I was really intimidated by her, and one of our guides, Vanessa, was like, "Oh, Stacey, you have got to meet Jordan. You're going to love her, and she's amazing. She's this beautiful artist and she's so magnificent." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And then I got on Instagram and saw that she has like, 30,000 followers or something like that. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, why is this girl gonna like me? Like, she's so amazing." And now I know, I just
has nothing to do with
I know, but I just, it's so cool to get to know you on a deeper level, because I feel like every time we're together, I get to know so much more of you, and I'm super grateful for this woman here.
Grateful for you. We actually, when we met, it's funny because we actually like connected really when I first shot you.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And it was all downhill from there. But I'm kidding.
We have a very special relationship. Yeah. So in modeling, and photography as well, what were some struggles internally and externally that you may have experienced?
Right. So like I said, this photo shoot thing with myself, that was like a weekly occurrence, and that continued. And then I was kind of going through a hard time in high school. We had moved, and I was just not, I don't know exactly like what happened. It doesn't matter what happened, but things were just a little rough for me. My life was great, but inside I just wasn't okay. I wasn't happy, and I ended up just becoming like really consumed, just by like this feeling of like isolation and not having friends, and just not feeling like I was fitting in. I felt very lonely, and it was just not in a good place. And you know, high school is hard for a lot of people. And again, nothing in my life was bad necessarily, but I just was broken.
Right.
And so through that, I kind of just developed like an eating disorder and just a lot of really terrible self-harm practices to just try and cope with these things that I was feeling. And I think I just hold like a lot of shame around saying some of this, so I get awkward. But it's not a joking matter. I just don't know how to like talk about it sometimes. So
it's okay.
I was in this pit, and I was like going through these things, and I stopped creating with photography, and I definitely wasn't doing self-portraits in this time. It was like this weird thing that I didn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to disappear. So I wasn't photographing, and I just hid basically.
Yeah.
So I can like, you know, starve myself and disappear. That was my thing. So I was going through a lot of really bad self-worth issues, and just feeling like I wasn't good enough, and I wasn't deserving of love. I didn't deserve to be seen. And so that's what I was going through at the time. And so through that, I wasn't modeling, wasn't doing photography, but I was painting, and I was doing art, but it was pretty dark and it was really messed up. And I actually threw all those paintings out because it's just bad.
Yeah.
So I was still expressing, but it wasn't necessarily in a good way.
Yeah.
And a lot of my energy was spent like over-exercising and just consumed by numbers. And it was just really a dark time of my life.
Yeah.
So through that, I felt like I lost a huge part of myself, because a huge part of myself was my photography and modeling and my self-portraiture work and my self-expression, because I found a lot of joy in that. But that whole piece of my life was gone.
Right.
I wasn't allowed to do those things anymore because I wouldn't allow myself to do it. So one day, I had met a photographer kind of in that area, because I did want to, I would kind of dabble with getting better, and I'd dabble with what if my life was different. So I had met a photographer in there, and I had shot with him a few times, but nothing too serious. It was just whatever, you know. I was kind of getting out of my funk, but not really. And this is maybe when I was a freshman in college. He offered to me, we had been shooting, and I trusted him. He offered to have me hold a space for me. He knew I was going through with my eating disorder and everything too. He offered to hold a space where I can explore my body in an art nude shoot. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know about that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm, like, that's not for me.
Super vulnerable.
Yeah, and like, it's a guy, and I'm like, I don't know, like, what are you gonna do with these photos? He's like, no, they're yours. I want to do this for you, because I want you to see what you look like through someone else's eyes. And I think it's important, because you're distorted. You can't see yourself, so let me show you. And I was like, I don't know. But I agreed to do the shoot, and I can totally think back to the shoot as like a pivotal time for me in my choice to recover. And we did the shoot, and you know, I'm in it and I'm like, oh, like I'm ugly, like I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. And then I'd go and see the images because we were shooting live. He would like, as we shot, it would show up on his computer. And so he'd show me the images and he'd be like, you're so strong. You're strong, like you got this, like you're capable, like you're all the things that my mind had been screaming at me otherwise for years of my life.
Yeah.
And I saw the images and I knew that what he was saying wasn't true because what I finally saw was a sick, broken person. And I was like, I can do better than this, and I think I deserve better than this. And so through that shoot, I just decided, like, this is not okay anymore to do to myself. This is disgusting, and this needs to change.
Yeah. Wow.
So that kind of sparked a new chapter in my my photography and modeling, where it kind of transitioned into being like a new tool for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of that. I know that was intense. But that's really
true, though,
yeah, it's really beautiful because I feel like there's a lot of people that can relate to not being seen and not truly seeing themselves and hiding. I think that's a big one. We hide from ourselves first, and as a result of hiding from ourselves, we hide from the world.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing all of that and being vulnerable. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So then that opened up a new chapter for you.
Yeah.
And what was that new chapter? What happened next?
Oh, this is the fun part. So this opened up a new chapter where I was able to use my modeling and my photography. I got back into self-portraits. I began doing photography again. It was a way for me to express the things I was feeling in a non-destructive way for the first time in years for myself.
Beautiful.
It became a way for me to track my progress in recovery and to know that it was okay to not always be okay in that moment.
Yeah.
I would express really dark things going on in my mind, but at least I wasn't taking it out on my body.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, if these images are coming out maybe too dark, you know, and people don't like them, I don't have to post them. This is for me. It's not for other people. And I would use it as a way for me to really pour out what I was feeling. And almost like it's like a purge. Like I was kind of getting it out of my body and my mind, and it would calm me down.
Yeah.
But it became like very, like I was doing it all the time then because it was like a coping mechanism. Yeah. I got excited. Very passionate. I'm like, blah. It was a way. I was telling you. I'm sorry.
No, you
I would get so excited. It was just a way for me to really like heal
and move that energy,
and move it out, and like really use it. I say it's visual healing. That's what it was for me.
Yeah, totally. It's so important for us to find ways that we can express whatever it is that we're feeling in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So that's really amazing that you found that for yourself. And as a result, you're expressing and you're creating these really beautiful and moving images.
Yeah, and people felt it too. They're like, there's something here. Like, there's something to this. And they'd ask me, like, what does this mean? I'm like, it doesn't matter what it means to me. What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you?
And often they'd say, like, they'd DM me and say, like, this moved me in some way. Like, you know, this reminds me of this. And I'm like, great, I'm glad that you had the experience. And I don't feel the need to explain my story to them necessarily all the time.
Yeah.
Because if my expression of what I'm going through can help someone else, that's all I ever wanted.
Right.
I only ever wanted to help myself through this, but also if what I did for myself could help someone else, great. Yeah. Because no one should have to go through what I went through when I was younger. Like, no one. So that's why I get so passionate about it. Cause
that's
it's
great.
Like,
we need more passion.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
We really need that. So yeah, that's really, I love looking at you in person or on film or on video or in photos. And because I can really feel you through those images. And it's such a gift to be able to feel that from someone else. Because I feel like a lot of us struggle with expressing whatever you did originally, so you found this. And I know for myself, I have struggled with expression previously in my life, and now that we've gotten to this place of freedom, you know, it just feels so good to be here and to be able to move these things within ourselves and move them outside of ourselves. I feel like that's the most important thing is just getting it out. However you know, we talked about I think it was last week, we talked about transmuting anger in positive ways and expressing anger in positive ways. Like, photos are a wonderful way to do that. And was it the first time that we shot together that we did the paint?
Yes, it was the first time, because I shared briefly with you that sometimes it's good to see ourselves. It's good to see ourselves the way that we feel, and even if we don't feel good, if we don't feel beautiful, to just see ourselves looking destroyed sometimes is so healing, because we can release it. Yeah. Once you, like, you know, you express that part of yourself, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's really cool looking back on those images now, because that's what so we shot together in January of 2018, and
it was before. Oh no,
no, I think it was right.
Really?
It was right after or before K1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we shot together, and
so long ago.
I know, so long ago. Like, we've lived like
we've been like 5 different people.
Yeah, seriously. That's what's so cool about this path, is like you're constantly evolving and changing. And so looking back on those photos, like, I remember a few weeks before the shoot, I was talking to Jordan on the phone. It was like over Christmas, and I was having such a hard time. And
you said to me, I don't know if I want to look beautiful. I don't know if I want to look pretty.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Because I didn't feel beautiful
right
at that point. Like, I was in this like really deep place within myself of like moving a lot of darkness and like anger and stuff outside of myself, and it was really painful, because I'm typically positive, and it wasn't like a space that I had really gone into since I was a teenager. And here I was, like, I don't know, what was I, like 30 at the time or something like that, or 31, I can't remember how old I was. I'm not going to tell you my age, just kidding, it doesn't matter. But I was like, you know, I had grown up, and I hadn't been in that dark place in so many years, because I can definitely relate to like the angry teenage girl, and just like I hated myself a lot of my teen years, and that was a really hard time for me. And I too like had some pretty destructive patterns, and so like going through that and moving through that as an adult, I had a lot of shame around it. And the photos were really, you know, Jordan was like, we're gonna take some pretty photos, and I was like, I don't want to take pretty photos. And she's like, put on your makeup, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna paint this highlight on, like,
really beautiful. I love those photos.
So yeah, we have some really beautiful photos of me, but we also have those really like,
that wasn't the shoot. Yeah, the shoot was what we did with the paint.
With the paint, yeah. That was like and we ended with that. And those photos, like, a lot of them are for me, and I've shared a couple of them online, but I look back at those photos and I just don't recognize that person, because I mean, we're not even who we were 5 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm super grateful to you and your gift, and I feel like you always see me in this really amazing way that I can't see myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that is, and even when I see other photos that you take of other people, I'm just like, wow, like, look at how beautiful this person is. And even when it is like a little bit edgier, you know, because I really love like even though if it's like a sharp, like edgy photo or really raw photo, I'm just like, yes, like, that's real, you know, like, give me something real, give me something that I can relate to. And because, you know, a lot of this world, there are like sad things that people go through, but if we just like put on a mask and don't really like deal with the problem, like, it's not going to be very productive.
Well, because a lot of times people feel that they have to be in a certain box to be doing okay in this life, and people don't give themselves permission to not be okay, and like you don't always have to be beautiful, because life isn't always beautiful. You don't always have to be prim and proper and perfect, because life is not perfect. Yeah. And we go through our shit, and we have to be able to accept all aspects of ourselves to feel to truly be complete. Yeah. We have to accept that maybe sometimes you are broken. Yeah. And that's who you are at that moment, but that doesn't mean that's who you're always going to be.
Because we have the choice. Yeah. We can change. If we want to, we can will it. We can make it happen.
And also, just speaking back to what you brought up earlier, I find it's a lot easier for us to see the beauty in others, but to see the beauty within ourselves is pretty tricky sometimes.
So true.
But it's good to have someone else who can really see that in you and see your strength and pull that out of you.
Yeah.
And capture that and then show you and say, see?
Yeah.
Right here.
Right here.
I mean, that's what I had done with that one shoot I mentioned earlier. Like, he said, see, this is who you are. And I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Right, I remember now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my goal.
And that's why we work so well together, too, when we have clients. So we have a shoot tomorrow that we're both really excited about.
Yes, it's gonna be so fun.
So, you know, moving into that, you are now a professional photographer. And how did you move from modeling and self-portraits into, like, taking photos of others?
Well, I mean, I'd always taken photos of others, you know, like my middle school days. I wanted my friends to model for me. And I guess when I wasn't taking self-portraits, somewhere in that storyline, I wasn't doing a lot of self-portraits, and maybe I was doing more modeling shoots. I didn't really want to capture the world. I didn't want to capture myself. I felt it was just too much, and I didn't see the world as beautiful. I just saw it kind of through like a dark cloud. But I saw beauty in others, and I saw beauty in their life and like their joy that they had. And I didn't feel that. I felt like I didn't deserve it, but they had it, and I wanted to capture that because I wanted them to feel beautiful. I wanted them to cherish what they were able to feel because I was numb to the world.
Yeah.
So then I started taking photos of other models and of other people. And then a few years down the line, it totally transitioned and shifted into what I do now, which is helping people capture their essence into photos that people can then feel and see, and capture their brand or like their personal mission into images that their future clients or people that they're meant to help can see that and see them and say, oh, like that's the person I'm supposed to work with. So really help people really step into their own power. And it's also, it just keeps changing because now I feel really called to help people who have struggled with various things like self-worth or self-love or even healing from eating disorders or self-harm or just whatever it might be, just so many different aspects. I want to give them a safe space so that they can have the same experience I had when I was younger, so that they can see that they're beautiful and that they deserve X, Y, and Z, and then they can heal. So now it's shifted into this whole new thing that I want to start being able to offer that to people now as well.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like we're always changing, and what we want to do is always changing.
Right.
So I love helping people do their branding sessions, but I also really love helping people express and have their own visual healing experience.
Yeah, totally. Are there, I know we have kind of talked about this a little bit, are there ways, or I know that there's certain concepts that you want to start shooting with people. So can you speak a little bit about those more, I mean, I don't even know what type of concepts they are, but I know that they're a little bit different from what you have been shooting like over this past year.
Yeah, totally. Well, so I guess for my like real world thing I'm doing, I am in school for visual communication and marketing. Not really marketing, but it's basically like photo shoots for magazines and editorials and commercial campaigns. So a lot of those aspects of what you would bring into there, you're tying in color, mood, emotion. Well, that's me, but like what things can you bring into the shoot to convey these things to people?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for my clients. It's like, okay, what colors are we going to be working with? What elements are we going to incorporate to express what you're feeling or what the theme of the shoot is? Like, how can we express that you're happy? Oh, maybe you're blowing like confetti and like you're just like expressing your joy. And how's your pose going to contribute to that? And how's your hair and makeup going to contribute to this theme you're trying to get across?
Yeah.
If someone's upset, okay, if someone needs to heal from maybe a dark time in their life, let's say, how can they express their darkness in a way that shows them breaking through?
Yeah.
Maybe we get paper and they rip through the black paper. Or maybe we get paint and they're tearing the paint, but they're still coming out of the paint and like you see their eyes through the paint because they're the ones who are choosing that they want more and that they deserve more and that they're
breaking free.
Fight for it. Yeah. Or if someone's I don't know, it could be endless. Like if someone's like gone through a really rough time in their life or they're letting go of a big chapter of their life, maybe there's smoke and they're walking through the smoke and into the new, there's so many ways that we can use these visual elements as cues to just enhance the whole feeling of the shoot. I mean, you don't have to do it, but that's just like the little details.
It's so much more fun though.
It's so much fun. Yeah, I love it.
And it's so artistic.
It is. It's art. It's a visual healing experience. But the main thing is that the person is ready to change and that they're going to commit to themselves afterwards and stick with it.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part, I'm having deja vu right now, so I guess I should say this. A big part for me was my own commitment to myself. This is weird. This was supposed to happen. Okay. The self-commitment piece is a huge one though, because if someone's going to commit themselves to do this like thing for themselves, and like they're going to say like, I'm changed and I deserve this, they have to stick to it. And I'm saying this right now because when I would do modeling back in the dark days, I'd say like, oh, I want to do better, I want to change my life around. But then I'd go right back to the self-destructive ways, and then I'd like be cutting myself and just doing these bad things. And I'm like, but I just said I would commit to myself, so why am I not sticking to it?
Right.
And it comes to a point where I had to stop that if I wanted to continue modeling and being successful, because I couldn't be hurting my body if I wanted to keep doing this.
Right.
So it's like you have to actually commit to yourself and be ready to fully like say, I deserve this, it's time, and I need to change because I deserve this and I choose this for my life. So it's cool to have that experience, because sometimes you can see yourself in a way, and once you actually see yourself in a way that's like who you actually are, and you see that, you have to kind of come to a point where like, okay, no more.
Yeah.
Like me. Like I am love and I'm loved. And I choose love. And I choose me.
Yeah. Wow.
So I don't know.
Amazing. That was so good. I love that.
Thanks.
Yes. Well, I can't wait for us to work together again on, we shot together yesterday, but I just want to shoot with you like every day.
I mean, we've shot together like 3 times the past month.
Every day is a photo shoot for us, so.
It's just such a beautiful tool. I just love it so much. And like, I encourage you guys watching, you don't have to go out and do like a big production. Like, there's days where I'm like, I need to like get some things across, and I get Timer Pro, it's an app, and I set up my phone, and I just rock it out. I'm like, oh, I'm mad. And I'm mad. Or, oh, I'm happy. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to capture this so that I can express it and release it, or express it and feel it.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be a thing. Like, you can just use photos and videos and movement. And there's so many tools that we visually can use to see what we're feeling without judgment towards ourselves. We're allowed to feel these things.
Yes.
But we can't hold on to them. We have to let them go, and we have to move on because we deserve that.
Let them out.
And commit to ourselves that we choose us over this attachment to this like patterns and pain.
I love that. Can you come on every night and do a live with me? Well, awesome. That is just like, it's so good. I feel like, we had some questions, but I feel like we've already went through all of them. So that was really good. Is there anything else you would like to say to those that are watching tonight about, I think you just said some really great stuff, but about expressing yourself and, any way that you can express yourself?
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect to get started. I think that's a big one, and that's the thing I always struggled with. Or like, you don't have to wait until this thing happens, or you don't have to hold yourself back until this happens, or you have to start somewhere, and we all have to start somewhere. So accept yourself and be super loving and gentle to yourself, and I think that is one of the most important things. And if you're not in a good spot, like, don't not do something because you're not already, like, you have to start somewhere. You have to just do it. And even if you're not where you want to be, you're going to get there. And the only way that you're going to get there is by starting. So you might as well just keep going and be gentle.
Totally. Yes, be gentle with yourself because you are a really precious being. Like, it's like you're like a little baby, but you're not a baby, but you're really precious. And it's so important for us to nurture ourselves in our journey and really, be there for ourselves with whatever it is that we're going through, because ultimately we're never going to be able to show up or love or, be there for anyone else unless we can do that for ourselves first.
And just know that you're always loved, even when you feel you're the only person on earth, or that you're super alone. Like, you're never alone. You were never alone. You're always loved, and someone's always out there watching out for you. And all you have to do is ask for help when you need it.
Yes, ask for support. I'm here for that. If anyone needs my support in any way, I love you and I value you, and I love you, Jordan, and I value you, and I'm so grateful that you came on tonight.
Yeah,
and
thank you for having me.
Yes, and shared such a beautiful piece of you and your life and your story and how you got here today, because I know that there's at least one person out there that this story is going to help. So if you guys need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you're interested in shooting with Jordan, she's here until next Thursday, and
I come back often though.
But she comes here often, so, and I like to try and convince her to come even more often. But she's also in the Bay Area, so for those of you who are not in Austin, she is in the Bay, and if you travel to her, she can shoot you. And
I know all the great spots.
She knows all the good spots, and the Bay Area is beautiful and amazing and super magical. So why would you not want to go to the Bay? First of all, to visit Jordan, and then get some really empowering photos of you for wherever you are at in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I do so many different. I offer so many different. It just depends
so
on what
many
you want.
things.
Yeah, but they're always empowering. I mean, it's empowering to have a photo shoot. It's like, dang, that's me. Like that's the reaction I want my clients to have.
And it's funny because I feel like a couple of times that we've shot, I don't know what it is about. It's got to be some like healing process for me of like, oh, I don't want to be seen today. Like I don't
every shoot.
I don't want to take a photo. And then she takes my photo and I look at it and I'm just like, is that me? You know, is that really who I am?
You gotta get out of your own head sometimes.
Yes, get out of your own head. Like it's so important that we do that. Yeah. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
And like I said, you can reach out to me if you need support, and if you'd like support from Jordan in the form of a photo, or whatever you need. If you have questions, feel free to shoot us a message, and we will both be happy to answer that. So definitely. I hope everyone has a fantastic Friday. And I know we have early morning shoots, so we have to go to bed soon, but luckily we're not staying together tonight, so
all night.
We always stay up way too late. But so we have to go, but I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all back here tomorrow. If you have any questions about the talk tonight or anything else that you would like me to speak about, please shoot me a message or comment down below, and I will be happy to answer that for you. So
thank you guys so much for watching my story, and if you want to get a hold of me, I guess my profile's linked. So great.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye.